There was a supposed leak of paparazzi photos of Meghan and Harry dining with Eugenie and her husband at a Santa Barbara restaurant. But you're about to find out all the clues that expose how these photos were staged to look like someone broke into their privacy. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. It's too much of a coincidence that these pictures were leaked the same day that Catherine arrived at Copenhagen for her first foreign visit since the pandemic. Yes, we're used to this kind of random events, but still. Well, when you see the pictures, the first thing that you notice is, of course, the facial expressions. We're always going to focus on faces first, and oh my god. Why is our forever glorious Duchess opening her mouth like that? She reminds me of that creepy Goya painting. Yeah, that one. You know what's strange? It's really nice that the paparazzi made sure that every single shot of Meghan had her laughing or smiling or whatever she does with her face. And as for Harry, well, I'm glad that at long last, he doesn't look like he's got vitamin B deficiency. The paparazzi even managed to get a shot of an expression that really looks like he was hanging out with Snoop Dogg. Now, so far we have a very decent paparazzi that took great care to picture the Harkles like they are really glad to be there. It was such a coincidence that Jack was the only one with his back turned. That's interesting. Because even if Jack doesn't play much in these photos, I'm going to show you two of them and let's see if you can spot what's odd. Here comes the first one. Eugenie is talking. Jack is paying attention to her, and Harry looks like they are listening to carpenters in the background. Yeah, that one. But let's take a look at the second picture. Now we can see all four of them. Meghan, Harry, Jack, and Eugenie. Do you notice something different? Maybe you feel it. We can't just tell what it is. In the first picture, you can see Harry between Jack and Eugenie, right? But in the second, you can see Harry between Meghan and Jack. It's not that they were playing musical chairs or something. They did not move. The one who moved was the paparazzi because he shot the first photo from this angle, where you can see Harry between Jack and Eugenie, and then circle around them to get Harry between Meghan and Jack. Now, you might be asking, why is this relevant? Oh, a paparazzi that can move. How is that possible? Well, it means that the paparazzi had enough time for A, getting the best shots of the Harkles laughing, and B, he could afford to try the best angles. Why is this important? Because we already know about Harry's legal struggle for police security in the UK because he can't get the same security that he has in America. By the way, one has to be aware that there are over 4 million gun owners in California alone, a far cry from the 600,000 in all the UK. So his security in America would be top-notch, right? But then, how come that security lets a paparazzi get near the Duchess and have all the time in the world to take photos and eat a sandwich? And if they want so much privacy, why are they sitting outdoors right beside a glass railing? Now, I'm sure you noticed the fact that the last time Meghan went on an undercover shopping spree, the names of the shops were prominently showcased. You know that kind of exposure is never free. So that's how we can guess that whatever restaurant this was, you can imagine the reaction when someone, suspiciously with a voice that sounded a lot like Meghan's, called them and said, "Hey, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will be dining there with the Princess of York and her husband. We will be glad to mention you in the media for a small payment." Hello? Hello? So that's how it works. No payment, no mention. And that's also why the paparazzi was really careful about not getting any details in the picture that could give away the setting or the name of the restaurant. And that's sad, because context and surroundings are really important for any behavior analysis. But these people have not yet realized that I have a very particular set of skills. Skills that I have acquired over a long career, including watching Minority Report more times than I can remember. So the only clues available were in this picture. We have a metal and glass railing, we got round tables with a layered edge, and this heat lamp model. It's not that hard to realize that they were not going to dine at any McDonald's. Of course they were going for the cream of the crop. With a quick Google search of upscale restaurants at Santa Barbara, it was not hard to spot Caruso's restaurant. When you check its photos, you confirm that they've got the same metal and glass railing, round tables with layer edges, and yes, they have the same heating lamp models. In other photos, you can confirm that what looks like clapboard walls behind Harry are also present in the official photos of the venue. Some netizens said that this was Miramar Club, and they are right. Caruso is in fact a restaurant that is part of Miramar Club, so we're both right. In fact, in Miramar Club's photos, you can see round tables with metal edges that are the same model that the one in the Harkles photo. Why is this important? Because it's critical to assess if the setting was safe enough for Harry's security concerns. And as you can see, Caruso is right next to the beachfront. Here's the photo from the inside and here's a photo from the outside. The same ceiling decor, the same umbrellas at the beach. Now, you might think that since this is part of a private club, then this has to be a private beach, right? Well, not quite. Here's proof that the resort was in trouble back in 2018 for closing that beach, and they finally had to grant open access to the public. This would make sense then that a paparazzi would be able to sneak and take photos of them. But then, again, where was Harry's so-called top-notch security? Don't you think that if the Duchess of Sussex wanted to dine at the beachfront, their security would make sure to deal with anyone suspicious, hanging out close enough to take pictures? And yes, there are cameras that can take pictures from far away. But the photos disprove this too, because everyone can see that the pictures were taken at an angle, from bottom to top. If you're too far away, the photos will not have an angle and would look flat. This supposed paparazzi never was more than 30 feet or 10 meters away from them. It still doesn't make sense that if you want privacy, you're going to dine in such an open place. There's also the fact that actors such as Rob Lowe have mentioned that celebrities move to Santa Barbara 100 miles away from Los Angeles so they can have some privacy. Most real paparazzis do not bother traveling so far away from the action. This was a lousy attempt at staging paparazzi photos. Not to mention that they are attributed to Backgrid, a company that is famous for staging this kind of encounters, and the relationship with the Harkles deserves its own video. But I wanted to show you that even if we didn't know who took these pictures, just a bit of observation and common sense would tell you that this is pretty much like everything the Harkles do. Artificial, staged. And I'm sure they did it to look like they are having fun, that they are enjoying their American life, and most important, that they can just get out and feel safe there and not in the UK. I have already talked about why Harry needs to make that impression about the UK, that he feels threatened there. And of course, it's not for good. I cannot wait for their next attempt at having a normal life. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.